We're live! What's up, everybody? It's Bill and Pete, and this is the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. We're your guides as we take you through this crazy journey through this crazy country called Brazil. What's up, Pete?
It's all good. It's all good.
Man, Pete, you sound like you're drinking. You're too chilled. What's going on?
No. It's been a chill day, actually. I only had one job to do today, and that was at like 8 p.m. So, yeah, just relaxed. I had my brand new 4-ring gas oven now. So I actually, for the first time in Brazil, I now own an oven. So I can cook lasagna, I can make roast.
This is nice because Pete posted this story about how his thing exploded, like the gas something or it went out.
My stove exploded. I live in a kitchenette, and it comes with like a 2-ring gas burner. And I don't know, it wasn't working because my cleaning lady, she used too much soap on it, and she clogged it the fuck up. So I asked the building handyman to come over and fix it. But not only was he not able to fix it, he made it worse because it was like the bottom where the flame is generated was hanging below. It's basically like a solid unit. It's got like the sink, the metal cupboard top, and the gas rings on it. And I don't know, when he was fixing it, somehow like the bottom was hanging out of the entire fixture. So I went to make some spaghetti, and it was fine. It was boiling away, but because the bottom was now exposed, like all that oxygen just like caught on fire. It was like this huge, massive fireball. Like it wasn't like the gas tank exploded, but if I'd been standing anywhere near it, I was working on my computer. If I'd been standing anywhere near it, I wouldn't have died probably, but I would have been burned quite badly.
I can imagine. Pete, there's a great song, Fun Ways to Die in Rio. And in fact, this is kind of a segue because our guest tonight, everybody, is someone from Rio. He's a Portuguese teacher named Marcos. He's been teaching Portuguese for 12 years, and he's going to give us some tips on learning Portuguese. So we'll have him on in a second. But Pete, I'll send you that song later. It's very funny, Fun Ways to Die in Rio. And when Pete posted this story, I was like, man, that's the crazy thing about Brazil. There's so many ways to die here, but innocuous ways, from the suicide showers to just slipping on your slippers on the way to get some bread. So it's not even like what you would imagine would kill you. It's just like totally innocuous. So I'm glad your kitchenette didn't blow up with you in it, or you didn't you didn't turn into a flaming ball of fire. But Pete has quite a few adventures, as we know.
It turned out to be a good thing though, because when I said I need a new one, they not only replaced my stove, but like it totally comes with an oven. So that's really good. It's a total eyesore in my apartment because there's no place to put it. So it's just like literally sitting in the middle of my room. It's a good thing to have. The only downside was that I needed an adapter to hook it up to my gas tank, and it took like a week to find one. So for like the last week, I've just been eating in restaurants, eating sandwiches, eating microwave shit. But tomorrow I can get back to cooking.
Awesome. So guys, before we get right into it, I want to thank everyone that listened to the last episode on Brazilian music. It was a really long podcast, but we had a whole lot of fun with it. And we want to do a part 2 in December. I've already talked to Elisa and Lee because they were so great to have on, and there was so much music. There's so much more to explore when it comes to Brazilian music, and so many artists we left out. And apologies to everybody, we left out Tim Maia. Like, how do you leave out Tim Maia when you're talking about Brazilian music? But that just shows you.
We left out a lot of things.
But Tim Maia is like, like everybody loves Tim Maia, from the rappers to the sertanejo guys to the rock guys. You put on a Tim Maia song and everybody stops. So definitely we apologize for missing out on any of his stuff. But thank you, though. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this podcast. But we're sticking in Brazil, guys. We're sticking with some hardcore Brazilian stuff because today, like I said, we got a Brazilian teacher on or a Portuguese teacher on. Look at me talking like a gringo. They speak Brazilian. Um,
They do,
we
though.
have,
They do. Brazilian
well, yeah,
Portuguese is not European Portuguese.
exactly. And as I was making the thumbnail, I changed it because I had how to learn Portuguese. I was like, you know what? There's going to be nitpicky people out there that are going to say Brazilian Portuguese, which is very different from Portuguese from Portugal. So let's get him on. He's already on, actually. Say hi to everybody there. Marcos, what's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
We're doing fine. It's so, I'm glad to have you on. I found out about Marcos very recently. A friend of mine, Maz from South Africa, had him as a Portuguese teacher down here, and she was just, uh, giving him glowing reviews. And I was like, man, we got to get this guy on because he seems real cool and he speaks really good English. So he'll be able to explain to us a little of the ins and outs of the Portuguese language. But I want to start, Marcos, first. Tell us a little bit about how you did learn English. You're pretty well traveled.
Yeah, I travel, I would say a lot, but not a lot. I've been traveling around the world. Yeah, I was in Europe for some years. Yeah, I really like underground places. Yeah, so I was in Slovakia, I was in Hungary there. I've been in Slovakia, lived in Slovakia for 2 years. I speak a little bit of Slovak. Yeah, crazy. Then I went to the Middle East. I lived in Kuwait for 4 years, and I've been teaching Portuguese there. And this was an amazing experience. Yeah. But before that, I was in Brazil, in Rio, for the whole time. I studied Portuguese and English literature. So I am also an English teacher, but I really hate to do it. Not that I hate, I really prefer to teach Portuguese, yeah, Brazilian Portuguese, to teach Brazilians, let's say. And that's it. So I've been learning English since like maybe 10 because my parents really like to, you have to speak English. So I started 10 years old, yeah. And it's a process, yeah. But when I really improved my English when I was going to live abroad, yeah. And this is like something you have to be immersed, and then you understand how can you improve in the language, yeah. And this is would be my first tip, yeah, to be immersed to learn a language and to learn Portuguese, yeah.
Yes, we're definitely going to ask you about some tips, and that immersion thing is so true. Even Pete and I both teach English, and students always ask us the inevitable question: How long is it going to take us to learn English? And that's an unanswerable question in a way, but all I know is that it'll take a lot longer than if you took like a 3 month study abroad program and immerse yourself in the language.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think most of my students are fully aware that fluency is only going to be achieved through immersion. They know that like our classes might help, but in order to get like native speaker fluent, you pretty much have to not only be immersed, but immersed for a long time.
Yes.
Definitely. And then tell us a little bit how you started getting hooked up with, well, obviously you're teaching Portuguese, so you're teaching the foreigners, but how did you get hooked up with maybe some of the expat community that, we know now, like people like Maz and people, some Americans, people from England, stuff like that here in Brazil?
Yeah, when I started teaching in a school in Ipanema, yeah, it's a very good school there. It was very nice to be teaching there at this place. And once you go for Zona Sul, yeah, we call Zona Sul the posh area of Rio, yeah, Ipanema, Copacabana, Leblon, Lagoa, yeah. And this is the posh area. It's a very touristic area, yeah. And all the tourists they live there, and the school was there. So I was just there, yeah. Like I used to live downtown, Lapa, yeah. So every time I was there, every day teaching there. So we started to to go to these places where the gringos, yeah, we call you gringos, okay? And it's not like, we're not making fun of you. It's just like, we're not Brazilian, we're gringos, yeah? And zero, you're not making fun, totally, yeah? Just gringo. And just be with them. And I met Ness there. She was working there at this place, and yeah, I met her there. And I met a lot of people. Wow, a lot of people. I must say, I had over 1,000 students. I still remember most of them. They're just amazing people. We are still talking in like or WhatsApp or Facebook or through Instagram. I still keep in contact with them. And yeah, so I got back to Brazil in 2019, and last year I decided to get back to work to work again, yeah, to teach Portuguese for foreigners. And I was looking for a lot of people like, oh, can you help me? Like I'm getting back to work. I didn't want to work at school again. And yeah, so I met you, I met a lot of people, and yeah, I'm really happy now that I can develop my work, develop my teaching skills. I think it's very important also. And yes, and I'm here.
Well, we got a student for you tonight. His name is Peter Baird.
I heard about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually did take Portuguese classes when I first came here because my school actually offered them to their teachers, but it was 10 1-hour classes, and my teacher was the boss's wife, and she was just the worst. Like she's like, "You're not going to learn the whole language in 10 hours, so just tell me what you want to learn." I was like, I don't really care actually. Like you're the teacher, just teach. So she went from like basic like numbers in the first class to like irregular past tense verbs in the third class.
Jesus Christ.
And like none of it stuck because it was just like she was just like that. And there was no real, there was no real lesson plan. It was like a cram course.
Mm.
Let me ask you, Marcos, what would your advice be for people that are thinking of coming to Brazil before they get here to just pick up a little bit of the language to get
Mhm.
accustomed to it?
Yeah, the thing is like, this, I will say something, but people will tell, no, this is not true, but it's true. It's very hard to survive without speaking Portuguese here. Tell me, Pete, how is it for you survive in this country not speaking Portuguese?
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, but I live in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo probably
Mhm.
has the most English speakers of any Brazilian city. So, yeah, I don't find it that. I mean, it's not that I speak no Portuguese. If I spoke no Portuguese, it would be difficult. But I have just enough to do basic day to day shit. I think the difficult aspect is probably more the social aspect. Like I'm cutting myself off from a lot of social opportunities because of it. But in terms of actually surviving and getting around, yeah, I do fine. I've been here like 7 years and it hasn't been a problem.
Nice. Because here in Rio, as you said, Sao Paulo, there's a lot of people that can speak English, but in Rio, that's not true. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not true. Some people that can speak a little bit, but to find someone that is really fluent is very hard. And I think my first advice is really try to understand the language and really learn some basic shit. Yeah, and the pronunciation, I think, is the first thing that the people should try to get it. Yeah, because it's very different. The pronunciation is very difficult, as you say. That even different from Portuguese from Portugal, and I think we have way more musical. Yeah, like on the last podcast, we're talking about music. Yeah, and even the way we speak, it's very musical. Yeah, I always my first class it's always talking about phonetics. Yeah, so talking about like pronunciation, and I always tell my students that look. when you learn Portuguese, yeah, the Brazilian Portuguese, the first thing you have to learn how to sing, yeah, all the ups and lows of the language.
Mhm.
I think the first tip, yeah, is to learn the musicality of Portuguese. You know, I think after that you can adapt your ears, yeah, and to the language. Yeah, I think this is my first advice, and pretty much, yeah, this is my
It's so
advice.
funny that you say it's so funny you say that, Marcos, because last podcast we talked so much about Brazilian music, and it's so what's the word I'm looking for? Um, the opposite of rare here, Pete. I'm having a brain freeze here. It's very common. It's very
Common.
common that you hear expats say that their first contact with Portuguese is through the music, and many of them even want to learn Portuguese because they want to understand the lyrics of Brazilian music, and it's a great way in, through the music, and like Marco said, you learn the musicality of it, you learn the rhythm of it, which I think, in a way, I think it's almost for any language, because I tell that a little bit to my students. It's like try to get the rhythm of English, and it helps you kind of understand the language. Marcos, we already have a question for you. It's my friend Shelly, who was actually on the podcast. She's a Indian poet. Wonderful podcast that we did. She helped edit a book on Tibetan poetry that was translated here into Portuguese, and real great, 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 great woman. And she asked me the following question. She said she's unable to write comments on Facebook, but wants to know any tips for those like me who feel the brain support system for language is off because of age. Because we all know the older you get, the harder it is to learn new tricks. So, what are your tips for
Mm-hmm.
some of the older folks out there, the 40 plus folks out there?
Wow, the 40 plus, you just call me old, man. You just call me old. No way. We're still young. We're still young. Yeah, I'm teaching like now, I'm teaching a 60-year-old guy. It's Jay, if you're there, man. Love you a lot. Yeah. And yeah, it's really hard. It's getting harder and harder when we age. But I think it's the contact. Yeah, when I have the contact with the language, I always tell him to listen a lot. We talk a lot. We make like stories. Yeah, so we are talking. We are at the time now that we're telling stories to each other. Yeah, and this contact of keep the brain very active at the same time with the language. Yeah, I think this is something like every day, 10 to 15 minutes, just go around some music or some shows, yeah, or some talking. Sometimes even just chats on the with WhatsApp. You send me some message some days, and we just chat for 5 minutes, and I think it's enough to okay, this is like this that I write or talk. Yeah, I think this to be in contact every time with the language. I think would be something for the old us. And don't call me old again.
We're all up there. We're getting old.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm a year shy of 50, brother.
yes, and I'm hitting the 40 mark, so it's fine. We're all old, but it's so true having that contact with the language, even if it's just 5 minutes per day, gets your
Mm-hmm.
brain thinking in Portuguese more and more and more. And of course, going out, Pete said something interesting about, he's managed to survive. And it's true. I mean, in Sao Paulo, and even, you know, depending on where you are in Rio, you can kind of build what I like to call like the expat bubble, and just
Mm-hmm.
have friends that are, either from Germany, or you have your whatever, your American community. And I mean, you'll survive, but I think you're kind of missing. You do miss a nice chunk of being in that in another country if you can't fully communicate with people and have that social connection, and which a lot of times ends up being business connections too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's so super important, guys, and it's super important to learn Portuguese, not Spanish. A lot of people come here thinking they can get away with Spanish, and you sort of can. Maybe
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ian
50%.
Anderson did that. He came
Yeah,
here from Spain, and he refused to learn Portuguese. He just like flat out spoke Spanish. Pissed a
yeah,
lot of people off though.
that's the thing. One, it pisses people off, but two, he kind of built his expat bubble because he worked for kind of an American school where everybody pretty much spoke English. So you kind of limit a little bit of what you can do. It doesn't mean that if you're okay with that, and he made a nice amount of money working where he worked, it can work for you, but you kind of you miss out on some. You're in a different country. You're gonna miss out if you don't speak the language. Marcos, how do you feel about some language apps? I have a few that I put up here that people really like Duolingo, Memorize. Do you adhere
Hmm.
to any of these apps to help people?
Yeah, the things like I was talking with a student about Duolingo, yeah, and he was like, "It's Duolingo is pretty nice for vocabulary. Yeah, he has a lot of
Hmm.
vocabulary, but he cannot put the words together. Yeah, and I think this is the problem when you want to communicate like real conversation. Yeah, he has the vocabulary. He knows that cachorro is a dog. He knows that grande is big, but he cannot make the order. Yeah, it's cachorro
Mm,
grande, not grande cachorro, for example. And because that's something like very basic for us, yeah, in Portuguese. Is the ser e estar, né? The to be verb. That for us
oh
is two
God,
different verbs. Yeah,
yes.
and something, yeah, it's something. And none of these apps, I'm sorry, apps, you're amazing, but none of these apps can give you the real experience of why I'm using ser and not using star here or the other way around, yeah. And I think this is something that these apps would never provide. Yeah, it's something like really hard to do. And I read many books, yeah, grammars and stuff. Also, there are some good ones, but most of them they lack a lot of experience also. Yeah, and I think this is the most important. Um, I think this is the role of the teacher. Yeah, to provide experiences for the students. Yeah, and that's why I think these apps they miss something. Yeah, you can get really a lot of vocabulary, but what they're going to do with the vocabulary if you cannot like put the words together? I think this is the big problem of the apps in general.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah,
work
and
as a
how
good
about for
reinforcement. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
yeah, how about for pronunciation? Because I find a lot of you know, uh, I don't teaching English isn't actually my main job anymore. Actually, mostly what I do is I interview people for jobs at multinational companies, and I find a
Hmm.
lot of the ones who like proudly say like, "Oh, I'm self-taught. I just use some apps and I watch series." Actually, the people who watch series aren't bad, but a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I never studied formally," like you can tell in their pronunciation. Like if you're just using an app innate for English at least, I think it's pretty piss poor for pronunciation. How does that go
Hmm.
for the apps in Portuguese?
I agree with you, Pete, because I mean they've gotten better, and even Duolingo, it has like a thing where like you have to click and like say this word, like say obrigado, so you click on it, you gotta say. So if you say obrigado or something, it's gonna say you got so
Yeah,
I mean it helps a little bit, but and the voices are a bit more natural. I tend to like this other app called Memorize because it's actually got little videos of people that speak, like I guess they just recorded actual people, so you get like I do it for German. So you get like a whole bunch of people. Some say Guten Tag slowly. The others like Guten Tag. The other one's Guten Tag. So you learn the pronunciation of that phrase, not an actual person speaking, and you can see them on the mini video. So that's kind of a cool app. But I'm with Marcos, man. I mean, it can't replace a teacher. I think it's good reinforcement, from after after your classes. Which brings me to another question, Marcos, because I dab my
Hmm.
fingers, or no, I shouldn't dab my fingers, dab my toes into helping a friend with Portuguese. I kind of gave her like maybe 2 months of classes, and one thing that I found really hard to do is find a good book. Do you have any good Portuguese English? I mean, Portuguese English, Brazilian Portuguese books, because I couldn't find any that I were really good. Because for English, we got like a million books. Like, I mean, you're flooded with good English material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, this is something, it's something like really hard, I must say, that material, yeah, the books. I think this Portuguese for foreigners, it's coming now, yeah, out. Like a lot of people, it's really studying universities. They are opening new positions, new studies there. And to be honest, I never found a material that was like, wow, this is something like amazing. I cannot say. I never saw material like this. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how what to tell you. And I've been to these 12 years I've been teaching. I've been to some materials. Yeah, and there was not like
Marcos, I'm gonna
wow.
cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off just a little bit. Are you? What microphone are you using? Because for us, it's a bit muffled. And then somebody in the comments also said there, "Hi, good evening." I have not a question, but something to say about Marcos' microphone. It's a bit muffled, which makes it a little
Hmm.
difficult to understand you. Are you using like one of those mics from the earphones, or are you talking directly into your computer?
Yeah, I'm talking. I have a camera, and the camera has a microphone, and I'm really close to the microphone, and I don't know what to do. You have
Do
an
you have
idea?
earphones maybe? Because I think it would cut out some of the background noise. Because it's clicking a little bit too when you're talking like.
Oh shit.
Yeah, see if you can get that. Because I can pick up what you're saying, but every once in a while it does become a little bit difficult
Damn.
because of the microphone there. Because you're giving out some good stuff here. We don't want to miss any of it. But while he's figuring that out. But usually, what helps is if you put on some earphones, it cuts out a little bit of the background noise too.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I have my earphones, but the microphone. The IT guy is coming. Yeah, and the IT guy, I will solve this. Yeah, but for
okay,
now, how good is it? Any better or not? Probably
that's a
not.
little better. That's a little better. So maybe the what do you call it? Don't get too close because then it's gonna muffle because you're like over on top of the
Okay.
microphone like that. But if you're like
Okay.
at a nice distance, just speak loudly instead of
Okay.
being close to the microphone. Just speak loudly. That sounds a little
Okay.
bit better. So,
Okay.
Mario, thank you though for chiming in, Mario, and I hope that you can understand a little better. But yeah, it was a little bit muffled. Um, but anyway, yeah, I agree with what Marco was saying that it's really difficult to find some good Brazilian Portuguese books unless it's like these really boring grammar books. And the thing with Portuguese, and it's funny, we've been keep saying Brazilian Portuguese, and I'll let Marcos maybe explain a little bit of what the difference is between Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese from Portugal. I'll give you just my 2 cents. Brazilian Portuguese is just insane. Okay, it's just it's whatever, which is what I love about the language. It's so loose and free. But why don't you give us your take? What is the difference between Portuguese from Portugal and Portuguese from Brazil?
Did I had some experience, yeah. I've been to Lisboa, yeah. The first 2 hours I couldn't understand what they were saying. I swear. I swear. I was speaking English. Yeah. The first 2 hours I'm like, dude, this is impossible. They speak my language. Yeah. And it was very hard the first 2 hours. And then I get used to it and yeah, it was okay. But man, I think the main difference about the musicality, as we said, yeah, we speak like very loose, lots of ups and lows. The language just goes up and low. You know what they're saying, yeah. I think, and when it comes to Portugal, I'm sorry if there's any Russian there, but sometimes I feel they speak like Russian. Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, they don't make these ups and downs so much. The vowels are really closed, and I think that's the difference. Yeah, the vowels, especially the vowels. For example, I can tell you that, for example, Angola. Yeah, we say Angola. That's the name of the country for us. And in Portuguese, they always don't use this ah. Yeah, it's like Angola. Yeah, they start almost start with the N, and that's actually the name of the country in the language they used to speak in Angola after they before the invasion, let's say, like this, and the
Yeah,
colonization. This.
but I agree with you. Definitely, the sound is different. Some of the
Mhm.
vocabulary for me seems a little
Yeah, the
different. Like it
vocabulary
seems a
is
bit
amazing.
more like formal, let's say. Like they kind of look down on Brazilian Portuguese as not really Portuguese, similar to how the English look down on Americans as that's not really English. So,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
just that I think that the discrepancy between the pronunciation is much wider. I think most Americans can pretty much understand a British person unless it's from somewhere like deep in like the countryside, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody from Scotland or something. But you can more or less understand a British person speaking, whereas when you listen to somebody from Portugal speaking Portuguese, you're like, what is this?
Yes,
This is
exactly. And
not the same.
yeah, and I've been to Mozambique also, and their Portuguese is really way closer to our Portuguese here in Brazil. Yeah, and I really think it's about the musicality. Yeah, because when we're talking about music, again, let's get back to music. Yeah, when I talk about music, and the good music comes from Africa. This is like when you want to dance, like African rhythms. Yeah, and so that's why I think their Portuguese are way closer and more understandable in Mozambique than the one in Portuguese, yeah, in Portugal.
No, I got you. I agree with that. I agree with that. And can you talk a little bit about, just within Brazil, many won't don't realize Brazil's a huge country.
Hmm.
And regional differences, from north to south. If you just learn, like, what would you consider general Portuguese to learn that you could maybe survive in all the regions of Brazil?
Yeah, this is something like really amazing that I always tell my students. Yeah, if you put a person from the south, from Rio Grande do Sul, a person from São Paulo, a person from Rio, one from Bahia, and one from Pernambuco and from Amazonas and Roraima. They put them all in Brasilia, and they will understand each other perfectly. Perfectly. Yeah. There are some differences in pronunciation. For example, I can say that in Recife, yeah, they have
Hmm.
more opened vowel. Yeah. So I say Recife and they say Recife. Yeah. So this ha and he. That maybe a lot of people don't get it, but for us it's a lot of difference. And that for
Hmm.
example, I say tia for auntie, and they say tia. Yeah, so chi and ti. This is a really different. And for example, I say leite for milk. In the south, they say leite. Yeah, but and this is what I tell to my students always. You have to say whatever you feel more comfortable. Yeah, if you feel more comfortable to say leite, go for leite. If you say more comfortable to say leite, go for leite. If you go more comfortable for leite, do it. People will understand you. Yeah. And
Hmm.
for example, you are in São Paulo, Phil, and you speak an amazing Portuguese. I must say, your Portuguese is very good. But for example, my name, yeah, here in Rio, we say Marcos. Yeah, we use this R. It's like R, almost French. Mar, and the end is sh, Marcos. And in São Paulo, people call me Marcos. And almost like English, yeah. This Mar, this
Hmm.
Mar, more like this, yeah, Marcos. And what is the standard one? The one that you feel more comfortable because people will understand you no matter what. In Brazil, we have this idea that it's a huge country and people will understand you always.
And that's what I like about Brazilians in general. Obviously, speaking in general, is that they are really good at trying to understand you. And I'm sure Pete's been through this. Like he speaks, like you said, just survival Portuguese, but he gets around, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Brazilians are like willing to stop and really try to figure out what the fuck you're saying, which I think is so nice because not every country is like that. I mean, I think I've told this story before on the podcast when I was in Germany, and I was so happy because like, oh, finally, ich kann sprechen Deutsch. I can speak German. I can practice my German. Man, if I stuttered for more than 5 seconds trying to remember a word, they would break into English and really good English. And I would get so frustrated. They don't have the patience to wait for you to remember what the word for money is or whatever, or how much does this cost. Whereas in Brazil, they're like really patient and really willing to help you, which I think is a really cool part about the culture here. And even Americans, in some instances, they're like, man, speak English. Or, they have signs that says English spoken here. And Brazilians are much cooler about that for the most part.
And I really think, and also the fact that a lot of people don't speak English, yeah. So you have to speak Portuguese to do your shit here, yeah.
I agree. Now, I want to get into some challenges when you are teaching us gringos. What are some of the challenges that you face? Biggest challenges for you?
I think the challenge, it's like provoke the challenge, yeah. So Pete, come here with me, yeah. The real challenge for us at the beginning is the nasal sounds, right? Nasal sounds are a bitch, totally. And my first class, I always make the difference, yeah, between ow and ow. Pete, can you do
Oh God,
it?
where is Pete? I think he fell out for a second.
Really? Oh my God.
Where are you, Pete? Yeah, but that one, that oh in ow. I
Yeah,
feel sorry for people that didn't grow up making that sound because they get into embarrassing
exactly. And this is
episodes.
exactly what I work in my first class. Yeah. You have to be
Yes,
able to go to the bakery and ask for pão. That's a bread.
yes,
Not ask for a
yes,
pão. That is a dick.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in my first class, I was like, dude, look, first class, you go to the bakery, what are you going to ask? And it's like some minutes trying to produce the sound that's really hard. Boom, boom. And okay, take some time and okay, boom. And say, look, mine, mother, mine. Go for it. Try the nasal sound. And they go. Yeah, it happens. But I go for the embarrassing. Yeah, like you don't want to embarrass yourself unless for a dick in the bakery.
Oh, Pete's
Just
back. Pete's
for a
back.
bread.
You can put him to
Nice.
the test now.
Yeah, sorry, that was my internet. I was listening to everything, but for some reason, StreamYard stopped reading my mic. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, oh, ow, oh, ow.
It's not O, Pete. It's own. Nasal.
Oh, oh,
Own.
oh.
Go for the bakery. Go for the bakery. What
Okay,
are you going
you
to
know
ask?
what? You know what? I'm going to blame part of that on your microphone difficulties as well, because
Okay.
I don't know that I'm hearing you 100% correctly. So
Good. Okay.
Yeah, you
I
just
got
gotta
it.
that
go.
could just be some.
Oh, you got the
Yeah.
beginning of it. You're going but then you gotta just make sure you go oh. You gotta finish it with the oh. It's a
Yeah.
difficult
Okay,
sound.
and
It's a
what words might I hear that sound in?
Well, like you were saying, the most common is if you go to the bakery and you want some bread, you can either ask for a dick or you can ask for a bread, or a piece of bread.
Oh,
So you can, if you say I want a pau de mel, actually that's a honey bread, with some honey. You're asking for a honey dick if you say pau de mel. But really, what you want to ask is for a pão de mel. Then you're getting that nice little uh, honey brisket, whatever you want to call it, honey. bagel.
Thank
So yes, I've had quite a few friends that have made that mistake. You know, Mo, your hand. It's not Mao,
you.
the Chinese dictator. Uh, what's another one? Cão is a dog. Cow. I don't know what if that even is a word. So there's a bunch of words, and then other words like mother, mãe, uh, banho, like a bath instead of
Mhm.
baño.
And
So
the
there's
future, yeah, like vão, yeah, the
oh
future,
yeah,
eles vão, yeah, for example, they
yes,
go.
the future you gotta use vão. Yeah, so it's a difficult sound.
It's a very difficult
That's
sound.
that's
If you're not born with
usually
it, yeah, if
and
you're
I'm
not born
telling you
with
that
it, it's really hard to make. And this is like something that, okay, don't embarrass yourself, try to do it. Yeah, I'm here with you, and we're going to sort this out, yeah. So after the first class, they're always able to ask for a bread and not a dick in the bakery.
which is very important, unless you really
Mhm.
want some dick, and then they'll be fine.
That's the point because I also am also like teaching you how to ask for a dick because could be important also, yeah.
Yes, could be important. The what do you call it? I would say that for folks that are learning Portuguese, that's about equal to Brazilians learning English who have a problem with the th sound, and it's like it's
Mhm.
that one
Totally.
sound that just kills them. It's like, oh man, it takes a while, but eventually you do get it, and it makes the difference in a bunch of words. If you pronounce the th like a d,
Hmm.
it just turns into a whole nother word. So yeah. That's definitely a challenge. And what about grammar wise? Because for me, that's the biggest challenge is the grammar, man. Especially when you have to speak in the past. Oh my God, the conjugations are insane. How do you go about helping people with that?
Yeah, the past is like really something, yeah? But I wouldn't say the past is the hardest part. Of course, there is the simple past and imperfeito. Yeah, this estive and estava, for example, this is something like that. It really takes time to understand the philosophy of the language. I always tell you more about the philosophy of the language, yeah. And but when it comes to subjuntivo, yeah, falasse, fale, yeah, instead of falar, né? Se eu falasse these clauses in Portuguese, yeah, this is the best. I know. And I think the whole idea is always to put on live. It really go for examples that are really you are really going to use them. Yeah, if you're really going to use these, I'm going to teach you this. I'm not going to teach you something that I'm not going to use. Yeah, and I think this is the most important part. And for example, today I was teaching this interface. Yeah, so why do I use falei and why do I use palavra? Yeah, that's the interface. And this is something like that you really need to feel. I always say, I always point at my heart and say, this is something that you're going to feel, and it takes some time. It's not going to be like one day and another. Yeah. For example, in English, like to make this comparison, yeah, it's like why do I say I went and I've gone, I have gone. So what's the difference? Yeah, between I went and I've
Mhm.
gone. Yeah, it's not the
Yeah,
same.
they're two
It's
completely different
not interpret.
tenses.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's you. Sometimes you can use one for the other. Yeah, you can.
Yes, they can be
Yeah,
interchangeable,
yeah, but in Portuguese,
but not
in
always.
palavra, they're not interchangeable. Yeah, they're not
Right.
interchangeable. So it's something that really you have to, we really have to study and come with the examples and the real life situations. Yeah, like really to do it.
Well, I like that, Marcos, and I'm going to kind of summarize what you said a little bit for those that couldn't understand due to the audio. But basically, what he's saying is so important, guys, and I 100% agree with it and use it in my own classes. Is a lot of times you just really got to teach people the things that they're going to use in the day to day. Because if you get into like Portuguese, quote unquote, what real Portuguese is, even the Brazilian Portuguese, it's complex. It's full of like little uh, prefixes and suffixes that nobody really uses. I think people used to make fun of the President Temer because he would use all those allo, the lows and the las.
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this of the words, which sounded almost like a Shakespeare type thing, like
Exactly.
come with thee and stuff like that. Nobody speaks like that, you know. It sounds really nice. It's very beautiful to hear, but unless you're gonna be at a poetry reading doing Fernando Pessoa or something, like you really don't need to speak like that. So
Yeah.
it's very important to have a teacher that knows how the actual people speak. And there's a joke, Marcos, which I'm sure you've heard, that Brazilians say about themselves. They say even Brazilians don't know how to speak Portuguese.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, well, the same is true of English speakers too, as
of
well.
course,
I mean,
yeah.
you spend any amount of time on Facebook and you realize like how few people can actually spell.
Yes. Oh, don't get me. Oh my God, why did you bring up spelling? Because that's my Achilles heel in Portuguese. Thank.
Well, I'm a bad typist in English, but I know how to spell. It's just I can't type.
Oh no,
So
I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm a good typer, bad speller in Portuguese. Thank God for spell check because it puts all those little accent marks where they need to go.
yes, yes,
Because
Mhm.
the
good
accent marks are
Lord,
important.
yes,
Yeah.
that
But
is.
when you say
Yeah,
all these laws and lies, yeah, do you know
yeah,
that sometimes you can put this law la inside the verb?
It's like what? Give us an example, but speak slowly when you give the example so people can
Okay,
hear you
very
right.
slow. For example, in the future, yeah, I will say about farei, né? Farei. Eu
Yeah,
farei. I will make.
yeah.
So I will make it. Eu faloei. So I put the
Oh
lo
my
inside
God.
the verb. Beautiful. But
Yeah, yeah. We won't be needing that.
no,
yeah,
no one uses it. No one uses it. And I don't even go for lo. Like even after the verb, no and lo, like why? You're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. So only say, okay, Marcos, I really want to study, really want to be able to understand, I really want to read books, and okay, this has this law. Okay, let's go for it. But if it's like a normal because just want to be here for tourists or even live here, you don't need this law. You
I
don't need
have a
it.
question for you. I have a question for you. One thing that confuses me with Portuguese, we're gonna abuse your knowledge a little bit.
Let's go.
What's the difference when you say like corre and corra, ande e anda? Those are two ways of giving somebody a command: walk, sing, whatever. But you have corre, and corra, with an a
Hmm.
sound. Ande e anda. When do you use one and when do you use the other?
Yeah, when you say corra, yeah, this is an imperative form. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is really the imperative form. How you should say. Yeah, this is the grammar, corra. But do you really hear people saying corra all the time?
I do. Here
No.
in São Paulo, I see it all the
All
time,
the
especially.
time, corra, corre, corre,
No,
corre.
it's
Vai instead of vá. Yeah, instead of
I see
vá,
it, man. I
or
wouldn't be
vai.
asking if I didn't see it. I see it all the time, and
No,
it
no,
confuses
of
the
course
shit
you
out of me.
do. Of course you do. Of course you do. But
Yeah.
if you don't learn this, it's okay. Yeah, because you give commands. For example, if you go for a recipe, if you're going yes, okay, I don't know how to cook, I want to cook this. And for example, misturar is to mix. Yeah,
Hmm.
so they say instead
hmm
of mistura, that is simple present, they say misture, that is the
Yeah.
imperative.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
if you
wouldn't
say
the other one be an imperative too? Because you're telling the person what to do, like mistura açúcar com whatever, like mix salt, sugar with this.
yes, so makes no difference. People say both. Like this is
And that's what's
indefensible.
fucked up. That's why Portuguese is crazy. That's why Portuguese is crazy. And I love stuff like this because our students. I'm sure Pete has this experience. Oh, but English is so crazy. It's so difficult. That you want because you don't notice how Portuguese is because you
Hmm.
speaking it since you were like 2 years old. You don't notice all the
Hmm.
nuttiness in the
Yeah,
language. That's
exactly.
funny though. That's really funny. Now wait. Let me go here. Cause. I asked Pete to come up with some words, anything that he likes, some words that he likes in Portuguese. I got a few myself. And and if you have any phrases that you want to share with the audience that you feel are like essential Brazilian phrases, if you come down here, I would love to have them. But before we do that, let me just tell everybody we're talking to Marcos. Okay, he's a Portuguese teacher. He's been teaching for about 12 years, he said, and he just got back into teaching a couple years ago. So we're putting his, trying to help him out, get his stuff out there. He's Marcos. Please share with us your social media handles and anything like that. In fact, can I share your Facebook page? Is that okay?
Yeah, Facebook
Okay,
pages
I'll
and
put that on the
also
screen.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, let me get your Instagram. I'll put that on the screen, and then later I'll link it in the comments. Wait up, let me just open Instagram over here. It's Marcos. What's your Instagram?
Valois. It's Valois, but actually, no, it's my last name, Valois, Valois 432.
Valois. Do, do
432.
do this. Put it in the comments because I won't be able to get it. Write it in the comments, um,
I'm not
and then
able
I'll be
to,
able to
but I'm not able
follow. It's
to
French.
make
That's
a
why
comment. I'm
I
not
couldn't
able to
spell it.
comment. I cannot write
Oh,
anywhere.
I found you. I found you. Don't worry.
Okay.
I found you. All right, so guys, I'm about to put some stuff here on the screen, but of course, I'll link any social media stuff later. But we got Marcos, so it's Valois 432. I'll put that in the comments here if you want to follow Marcos on Instagram. That's at, let me put that at so you know that it's Instagram. And if you want to follow him on Facebook, I'm going to add you as a friend here. I hadn't added you as a friend on Facebook.
Really?
You can do it like this. 1 second. Let's get all techie over here. There we go. Valois. Okay, and
Yeah.
there it goes. There's Marcos. And he's got all his stuff on there. So, yes, from Rio. And we saw the Instagram page. So, I'm going to start here, guys, because I have a few words here that I love in Portuguese. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
some of mine will be the same as Pete's. But I love the
That's
word.
okay. I pulled up a backup list, so if you use
Okay.
some I have picked, I have some others that I've just learned today.
Ooh, fresh, like fresh pão. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, so mine is beleza, man. I mean, beleza is like the mega word in Portuguese.
It's a
I
good
am
word.
in love with beleza because you can use it for almost any situation. What's your take on beleza, Marcos? Is that a São Paulo thing or is that all over Brazil?
No, this is a Brazilian thing, beleza. It's really a Brazilian thing, yeah. And the translation beauty, yeah, the beauty,
Yeah.
beleza. But we
Yeah.
are not talking about
Yeah.
beauty at all, yeah. It's like when you feel
No.
or cool or everything is all right, yeah. So beleza. I really like this word
So when do you
also.
use Beleza and when do you use Boa? Because I used to live in a Republica and I noticed like I had Beleza people and I had Boa people. Is it like where you're from or is it just more about who you are?
It is a good one, yeah. It's a good question. I like this kind of questions, yeah. But I think it's more about the mood of the person, really, yeah.
Right.
Because it's really more like chilling, yeah. The people are more chill, so beleza. Even the way you speak, yeah, you can say beleza, you can say beleza, and you do the music, yeah, beleza,
Right.
yeah, like cool. So I can ask, okay,
Yeah, but people
it's
also use
okay.
it just to say okay, right? It's like I'll
Yeah.
see you
Cool,
tomorrow. Beleza. It's like, beautiful. They use
yeah.
the same adjective to
And they
describe
can
like
ask you like,
seeing you
"Hey, how are
tomorrow
you?"
as they
Yeah,
would in the symphony.
yes, yes. And they can ask you like if you're okay. So Pete, beleza?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. How
Pete?
are you? Beleza.
Beleza?
Yeah, it's all good. Beleza. Like, oh, I'll pick you up tomorrow too. Yeah, beleza. No problem. Uh, So yeah, Belize is nice. Great way to say. And I think boa. When I hear boa, it's a little bit more excited. Like, ooh, that's cool. Like boa. Like yeah, like
Very good, boa, very good.
yeah, like
Yeah.
ooh, that's good, man. Good one.
Okay.
Um, Look at this, João Carlos Noronha, who we will have on our podcast in the future. He's an awesome dude too. Does a lot of nature hikes, so we're gonna talk to him about doing hikes, man. This guy has hiked everywhere, Marcos. He's hiked almost from here in Sao Paulo to Rio. He's like mega hiker. I've
Wow.
been on a couple hikes, and he's another guy. He's a English teacher, but a Brazilian dude. Awesome, dude. Awesome dude.
Nice.
uh,
Nice.
João Carlos Noronha, one of my good friends, one of the first people I met when I came to Brazil. Although I haven't
Nice.
seen you in a while, João, so we need to get together and have some juice. What's your word, Pete?
I will tell you my single favorite word in Portuguese that I learned very early when I was actually still trying to actively study the language, and that is azar. And what I love about azar is that in English, like we have luck, right? You
Mhm.
luck is considered good, and if it's not good, we call it bad luck. But in Portuguese, they actually have a specific word for bad luck. They don't call it bad luck. Bad luck is something completely unto itself and deserves to be referred to by a different name. And that's what I really like about it because, it makes more sense. Like, luck is supposed to be good. You shouldn't be able to have bad luck.
Mhm.
So the idea that Portuguese has a very specific word for misfortune, actually that would be the English word for bad luck, misfortune. But I don't know. I like azar better. I like the fact that like no, there's no such thing as bad luck. There's luck and there's azar.
Yes, I like azar when they say, que azar. Like, oh,
Yeah,
what shit? Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Misfortune. That's a great
I
one.
would say that like luck, yeah, it's like when you find 50 bucks on the ground. This is luck.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
azar is when you
You
lose.
lose 50
Luck.
bucks on the ground.
Yeah, you lose
Yeah.
it, or you find out it's a fake bill or
Yeah.
something. Like,
But
que azar.
we also have this má sorte, né? Like the bad luck, like the má sorte is like you and me, we are going together, yeah, we are going, and I see 50 bucks on the ground, and you take it, and it's yours. So this is sorte.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that is luck, but it doesn't work out for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there are three different things, yeah. So that's sorte,
Yes.
má sorte, e azar. The azar is really to lose the 50 bucks, yeah.
Uh, get now, Marcos, because you're the pro here. You got to give us a whole phrase. What's a whole phrase you can give us? That's real cool.
Yeah, I got some cool here. Yeah, the first one that is really nice to know. It's cadê. Can you write it, Phil? This cadê. It's
Cadê?
CAD.
CADE, right? With that
Yeah,
little thing on the E.
yeah. Cadê? Exactly. Cadê means where is. Yeah, because where is onde, né? Onde, you say
Yeah.
Right.
onde está, but people say cadê. It already make where is, and you don't need a verb.
Yeah, yeah.
Cadê o fio? Cadê fio? So where is fio? Cadê fio? Cadê? Yeah, I
I like
love
cadê.
this short thing. Yeah, cadê? Cadê? Cadê a cerveja? So where is the beer? Cadê a cerveja? You don't need the verb.
And
Just
I like when people use cadê, like, you're trying to present something to somebody, and they're like, yeah, where's that shit? Like, where is it? Where is it? Like, cadê?
cadê?
Like, show me. Where is it? So cadê is a good one. Cadê is a good one. And let me just write the other ones we said here. So we got azar, which is your misfortunes.
Uhum.
And azarado is somebody who's got a lot of
Azarado,
misfortune.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like he's vexed. And what did I say? Beleza. All right, so back to me. My other word that I love in Portuguese. Oh, it's not really a word, I don't think. It's just a way to get somebody's attention. E aí?
E
E
aí?
aí, man? Like, I love e aí, And again, e aí is a great way that you can just get somebody's attention, say how you doing. It's very flex. It's like almost like what's up, how you can What's up can be hello, can be like, oh, what's up? Like, what's going on? So yai works, and it's nice that you can say yai, beleza. You know, like, yo, what's up,
Nice.
beleza? So I like yai. I don't know if I spelled it right, but I think
Yeah,
it gets about it.
I cannot send a message in the StreamYard. I don't know, so I just sent you the message on WhatsApp. If you can check there. Yeah,
Okay,
if I didn't send out.
nothing came through.
Oh,
But what's up? Yai, then that's all over Brazil, right?
yeah, it's all over Brazil. Yeah, yeah.
Yai. So I think that's one you gotta know. You gotta know how to say yai as you're going around. And what you got, Peter?
Yeah, this is a word that I learned living in a Republica. I used to hear it a lot because I just happened to arrive here at the luckiest time in Brazil's history. Not speaking specifically of the pandemic, that was just part of the whole package. I, of course, had Dilma, the trucking strike, all kinds of wonderful things. And I learned this great word, sacanagem, uh, which
Come on.
basically means like a shit show. What a fucking shit. That's the closest English translation we have. It's like, oh my god, everything's fucked up. Nothing works. It's hopeless. It's like a word you say when your palms are literally raised to the sky, and you're like, "Why us, Lord? Sacanagem. Everything's fucked up."
Sacanagem. I love that. And it's true. There's no
Yeah.
real good English translation to that, man.
And
Sacanagem.
I would say too that sacanagem is the thing, yeah,
The what?
the worst thing that can happen is a noun, yeah. But there's a person who makes sacanagem. It's sacana. It's just take the
Sacana.
sacana.
Ah,
Sacana
Yes.
is the person. What was the pricker? The prick. Yeah, sacana. I
right.
would say sacana.
The
Yeah,
The
guy
like
guy
just
you
fucked
can
shit
use
up.
sacanagem a little bit when somebody's trying to get over on you. It's like, man, you said sacanagem, yeah? Like you're
just.
trying to get one over on me. You're trying to screw me, right? So
Exactly.
sacanagem does have that, but it's a funny sounding word, man. Sacanagem.
Sacanagem. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it rolls off the tongue so well, which is the cool thing about some of these Brazilian expressions and words is how they roll off the tongue so funny. But go ahead, Marcos. What you got for us?
Okay, I got another one. Yeah. Larica.
Oh, larica. I know what larica. Pete, you know what larica is?
I do not.
Oh, I know what that is. Go ahead,
So go
Marcos.
ahead,
Explain.
Phil.
What is the famous larica?
The larica, so like when you just smoke too much pot, not too much, you smoke pot and you get like that hungry. Yeah. Now I need to eat. It's like a craving. The
It's like
munchies.
the munchies. The
It is the
Larica.
munchies.
munchies. It is the munchies.
Mhm.
Anthony McGrew, who's always around. Thank you, Anthony. We love you. He's in Rio. No, he's in Salvador. Sorry. He says sacanagem is used for having sex.
Fazer
That
sacanagem.
that can't be good sex.
It can be good if somebody says, faz uma sacanagem comigo, do some
Mhm.
dirty shit with me, that's good sex.
Yeah.
That's, the bad sacanagem is when the prostitute takes your money and doesn't do anything dirty to you. Then you say, sacanagem, man, you did some sacanagem. That's the bad sacanagem. So, yes,
Mhm.
definitely. That's a good one. Yeah, Larica, though. I like Larica. It's an easy one to pronounce, too. That's the
Yeah.
munchies, the
They are.
after weed munchies. Let me
Then
see
that
here. Oh, and I already told Marcos this. This is another one of my favorites, and it's so easy. Probably the first one, because I have this thing, man, where if I don't feel like I'm from a place, I feel weird using like slang and local expressions because I'm like I think they're so tied to the culture. I feel like a poser if I'm trying to use an expression like in Minas Gerais, everybody says train, right, for everything. Like I'm not from Minas. I would be so weird for me to start saying train, train, train. A train is a thing. It's like a whatchamacallit. Oh, get that whatchamacallit. Get that doohickey. So in Minas, they call it a train. But one that I just fell in love with, and it's very São Paulo, is mano. I love mano. And It's basically like bro, and I think it was
Mhm.
easy for me to learn and say it because it sounds like man, and I say hey man, and my little cousins and my little brothers, they make fun of me. They're all much younger, and when they don't speak any English, but when they want my attention on WhatsApp, they say hey man, because they're so used to me saying hey man all the time. But I love mano. Oh mano, tudo bem, mano, mano, mano. It's such a cool word. And it's close to Mano's Hands of Fate. There's that
Mhm.
too.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
now
I would
Mano,
say
if I say
one of
Mano in Rio, am I gonna get beat up? Is it too regional for São Paulo?
Yeah, it used to be very regional for São Paulo, I must say. But I think this with all this interconnection now, yeah, that WhatsApp and the technology brought, yeah. So I think it's being a lot of used here now, yeah. But we used to say brother, yeah, like the English, but not with the English accent. We say brother, yeah, with E.
Brother. Yeah, I hear that a
Yeah,
lot here in São
e aí,
Paulo, and I
brother?
feel weird
E aí,
saying it. I
brother?
can't pronounce it right. It's
E
difficult
aí,
for me to pronounce because it's too close to English. I don't know how to say brother,
brother?
I
E
don't know.
aí, brother? É isso. Yeah, that's it. But we also say meu irmão. Meu irmão is amazing. Meu irmão is like meu irmão, my brother. So we say meu irmão. It's just putting on one word. It's like
Oh, meu
EMERMA.
irmão, meu
Meu
irmão, meu
irmão. So say,
irmão.
oh, meu irmão. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
So
that
it's
one, meu
my
irmão.
brother, and that's how we go. So,
And you know what I liked about Manu is that the transvestites, they kind of took it upon themselves to call themselves manas,
sim.
because they're like a Manu, they're like a brother, but not
Mhm.
really. So
Yeah.
they put the feminine at the end. So
Mhm.
sometimes you see Manus y manas,
Sim.
which is
Sim.
really
Não,
funny too.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Go ahead,
It's
Peter.
this
Oh,
idea of
wait. Anthony here. Anthony's on that sacanagem, man. He's having a good time in Salvador. Sacanagem is nasty. Let's do some sacanagem. So he's enjoying himself. I
All
want to have
right.
Anthony on, man. I want to have
Yeah,
Anthony on.
I want to be where Anthony is actually.
right now with a lot of sacanagem.
Yes. Anyway, go ahead, Peter. What's your next word?
Yeah, yeah. Surprisingly, my next word, well, my Portuguese vocabulary is very limited, so I have to be selective. But it is actually a garden variety pronoun that I somehow just find like one of the most awesome words in Portuguese, and that is isso.
Isso.
It yeah, it literally means this. That's all it means. But Brazilians use the word this in a completely different way than
Sim.
English speakers do. And this is a word I think I'd heard a lot before I even moved here because I'm a big mixed martial arts fan. And anytime you see a mixed martial arts fights, there's a lot of Brazilian MMA fighters. When the Brazilian fighter is doing good, you always hear the coaches go "Isso, isso," it's not just the word; it's the way they say it. They drag it out. The vowels are like so much longer, and what they're saying is like, "Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that,
that's
keep
it.
doing
That's it.
that." Yeah, and people mean it to say, people use it to say like, yeah, I agree with you. They also use it to say like, this is pretty good sex. That happens sometimes. You hear it in the sack, you're like, ESO. It's like, all right, I'm doing it right. So I mean, all these practical applications you can get by in life in Brazil so far just on using the word ESO.
God, Pete, I think our listeners know us too well because it's past the 11 o'clock hour. They know that this is when it turns into like the after hour show. Because now we got our viewership is back up a little bit, and we got Anthony here. Yes, isu when you're pounding that ass. No, Anthony, nobody has asked you to stop, Anthony. So please keep going because you're great. But Pete, this goes a little bit. I mean, that's a hard thing too for Brazilians who are learning English because in Portuguese you don't need to have an object for the verb. So isso can mean that's it. It's just that in Portuguese you don't need to put an object there. That's why, a lot of
Yeah.
people that are learning English, they say I like or I eat, I go, but they don't. You got to say where. You got to say what. I eat it. So isso it literally doesn't mean that's it, dude. Like that's it. You're doing it. That's it, man. Isso. But that's a good word. I like
Yeah.
isso. Hey, isso. Ah.
And I think Pete said something like really amazing. It's like how we along the vowels and prolong the vowels. Yeah, isso or isso. Yeah, so that the different the pronunciation is everything for us. Yeah, and when
Yeah, it's
you're
so
that
cute.
that is something good.
And I think it's so cute because with the Portuguese, so much about that intonation. And
Mhm.
like we're talking all dirty and nasty with the isu, but then I work at a colégio, a high school, and that's something so cute that you hear the teacher say to the little kids, like isu, like you
Yeah,
got it.
exactly.
Mhm.
It's so cute
Yeah.
at the same time. So one word can go from nasty to like something you'd say to a 6-year-old. So it's wonderful. It's a wonderful one word. Go ahead, Marcos.
Okay, I got one like that is I got really cool one that it's 0800. Have you heard this
Oh,
one? 08, it's a number. It's a number.
sad way to say
Zero,
this. There's
zero, eight,
another
zero,
one.
zero.
Wait, before you tell us what 0800 is, there's na faixa, which also means the same, and there's another one that's a number.
Okay,
And
na faixa velha São Paulo, I would say.
no, 0800. I'll tell you what it is, and I'll tell you a funny story about me and 0800 because I only found out like a year ago what the hell that means.
Mhm. So 0800 is really something that is free. Yeah, so you're going out for a place, so how much would it cost? No, man, 0800. Yeah, that means totally free. You don't have to pay for it. Yeah, and
Yeah, like an 800 number.
yeah, the story is like because back in time, yeah, there was some TV shows and have to call for the TV, and if the number starts with 0800, it means it was a free calling. You are not paying for this call. Yeah, so it's free. So
Yeah,
then everything, well, no, 0% is free. So it's free. Everything is 0% is free. So it becomes a slang, yeah, for the whole Brazil to say something is free, 0%.
yeah. I learned this very recently, and I remember here there's a party that was called Bachiku party.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just like a street party, and they sent out a flyer and it said 0800, and then it would say 17 or 1700 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was so confused about this because I thought that was the time, like it would start at 8 a.m., but then they said it was a night party. So I was so confused that I sent them this long message on their Facebook page. I was like, yo, your flyer is so confusing. Like, what time does this party start? What time should I be there? It says it's all night, but then it says it starts at 8 in the morning. What the hell? They were all laughing at me though. They're like, no, man, it means it's free. It's said way to say this. And then I totally forgot the term, because when I was in Ilha Cumprida, I was trying to get a bus to this other island. And when I asked the guy at the terminal, I asked him, "Oh, quanto é? How much is it?" He said, 0800. I was like, "Is he fucking with me? He's telling me it's 800 reais to go." And I said, it's like, como assim? 800 reais, because I thought they were just fucking with me because they heard my accent. And he's like, "No, de graça, man. It's free." And I was like, "Oh." And na faixa is another way to say it, which I also just recently learned, because across the street from me, there's a bar that used to have a galinhada, which is like a free chicken party, which is very
Mm.
popular
Yeah,
in
I
Brazil.
remember that place.
It is a wonderful. It's a lot of free chicken, man. And they used to say na faixa, and I could never understand what the fuck do they mean na faixa, because I'm like, I would imagine, those yellow police, the police. What do you call those? The police lines, whatever. The yellow little ribbons. And I'm thinking, yo, like, am I supposed to pay to get indoors? Is it like a VIP chicken party? It took me a while to figure it out. But that's a good one. 0800. Yeah, it's free.
0% is free. It's free. Very
Go
good, very
ahead.
good one.
Oh no, it's me. Go ahead, me. Let me see. Oh, this is a great one. I love, and it goes a little bit with what Pete had said with boa, just that I'm adding one extra word to it, and I say jiboa. And
De
jiboa is just another way to greet people to just ask them, "You good? You know, jiboa. Is everything all right?" Or no, everything's cool. Tá tudo de boa. Everything's fine. So that's a good one. If you say boa alone, that's more like how what Pete was saying. Oh, this is awesome. This is cool. But if you want to say I'm good or everything's okay, you say de boa, cara. Like it's no
boa.
problem. Like we're cool. There's no stress. Tá tudo de boa. Everything's fine. That's a difficult one though with boa, bone, bane. Oh my god. Anyway, that's another topic. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Peter.
All right. Again, I'm going for a pronoun. Very good one though, and that is nos. Again,
Nossa.
love the vowel sound because it's never pronounced nosa. It's always pronounced nosa. And the thing is, it's a pronoun that just means us. That like if you translate it to English, it makes no sense in the
Our.
context that Brazilians use it. Okay, yeah, our,
Our.
but
Yeah. Not.
still, it doesn't make any sense directly translated to English. But what it means is literally everything. Like if you get some like really bad news, it's like, oh NASA. But if you get some really good news, it's like NASA. And again, you might hear it in bed, not during the act, but maybe afterwards if you did a good job. So it's just literally used. I guess the closest explanation to English would be it means like fuck me because like in English we can say like fuck me like that's great or fuck me that's bad
Mhm.
or fuck me just because.
Yes.
So it's a great all-purpose word. It's just weird that it's a pronoun and it's so freaking harmless in
I know.
English, but Brazilians manage to use it in all kinds of creative ways.
Yes. Yeah, NASA is wonderful. When the pants come down and a mandioca comes out, and you're like, NASA,
Yeah.
that's it. NASA. Or maybe Pete, if Pete thinks it's a girl and then the pants come down and the mandioca comes out, Pete's gonna say NASA too, but in a
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, exactly. It's not just an expression of anger or happiness. It can be both.
It's just like, fuck me, you gotta
But
dig.
it can also be an expression of surprise,
Yes,
which
like
is good.
shit,
And
you
what
gotta
I
dig.
really like about it too is Brazil is like terrible with profanity. Like the worst word in Brazilian Portuguese, as far as I know, is caralho, which it's a terrible word, really. It's used in the same way as Nasa, but Nasa just sounds so much better, and it's not even a swear word. So I like that word better.
Yeah, I'm into NOS. I don't like caralho either. I don't think it's that. Like I even say caramba more than caralho. I don't think it's like that much of a word. But
Yeah. It's because I'm
caramba.
not in Rio. It's because I'm not in Rio. I must say about caralho.
Oh,
And
caralho.
okay.
No, yeah, they say
No,
caralho all the time, right?
no, in Rio it's a caralho the whole time. Okay. Two things about this. First about Nossa. Yeah. Nossa is a short for Nossa Senhora. Okay.
Okay.
Nossa, like our lady. Yeah. Like you're talking about Mary. Yeah.
Okay.
Nossa
Okay.
Senhora. Yeah. So it's just cut up
Oh,
simplicity.
that's good. That's a
Yeah.
really useful
So
lesson.
Nossa, and then this is for everything. The right kids. The idea of not Nossa is a
So
Nossa. Yeah.
it's like Madre Dios, Mother of God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sim,
Okay.
sim, Nossa
Like my
Senhora. And
God.
my God, yeah, Nossa Senhora. And the cool thing is like it's so crazy that you may have heard Minha Nossa,
I've
like
heard this
my
before. Me and
power. But
NOS.
this is impossible. Minha Nossa, it's my power. Minha Nossa. This is like fantastic. Yeah. And about caralho, Pete, yeah, and Phil. Caralho, yeah, it's about profanity, you said that. But in Rio, Like we curse a lot. We curse a lot in Rio. And
Yeah,
actually,
but it's
caralho,
not good cursing though. That's the thing. I think like
we all
regular
understand that.
straight up Portuguese is much more colorful than Portuguese
Mhm.
profanity.
I
Yeah, but
agree
the
with
thing
Pete,
is,
Marcos. Like I love some of the funny ways people say dirty things that are not
mhm,
necessarily profane more than the actual curse words, like what's the expression, like vai tomar no meio do seu cu, is so figurative, like, go take it up the center, like, of your ass. It's so much colorful than just the word cool. Like cool is like,
mhm.
okay, whatever, but the way it's put together and some of the expressions that they have are so funny. They have so many funny expressions to tell somebody they're an idiot. But the curse words themselves, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
English beats Portuguese on the curse word department.
Yeah, but about caralho for us in Rio, yeah, it's actually it can also be an adverb. Yeah, por exemplo, if it's
Oh,
raining,
okay.
if it's raining as fuck, está chovendo pra caralho. So, pra caralho, it's a lot, a lot, a lot. Yeah, so pra caralho for it's not, you're not cursing, you're saying it's raining as fuck, está chovendo pra caralho. Yeah, and actually today choveu pra caralho aqui in the year. Yeah. So it's all about this. And actually, there's a story about caralho. Yeah. Uh, when the Portuguese they came, yeah, with the ships, yeah, and there was this big pole, yeah, the biggest pole, yeah, and the ship, it's called caralho, yeah, actually, and
The biggest bull is Corollo.
yeah, so like, ha ha ha, mine is big as caralho. I want the big is my caralho. So this now caralho means like the dick. Yeah. But
Right.
actually, yeah, for us, we just in Rio, for example, we don't use like caralho as dick. Yeah. For me, it's an adverb. Yeah. Pra caralho a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody use caralho to refer to their dick. They would say
Mm-hmm.
pau, pinto,
Mm-hmm.
rola. Rola is very common.
Yeah.
English for kids. I
Oh
would
my
say English
God,
for
watching
kids.
my roommates when my roommates used to watch soccer in the Publica, man, that was like the only word you would hear.
Yeah,
Caralho.
yeah, no, caralho is like fuck, yeah, caralho. By
Yeah,
the
but
way,
they use it when things go bad, and they use it when things go good too. It
yes,
doesn't matter.
yes.
Everything's like dick this, dick that.
It's an expressive word. By the way, I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce this guy's name right. Martin Verbeek says: Abraços para Marcos, o malandro, melhor professor. So he's given Marcos the malandro, which is another great word in Portuguese.
Malandro is a great word.
Yes, the best
I learned
teacher.
that from
The
Belas
best
Virgin.
teacher. So he's giving you a WhatsApp there. Hello.
Yeah. Martin was my first student ever in Brazilian Portuguese, ever. Malandro, this guy is amazing. Yeah. Um, and so I was, malandro would be my word. So you can write malandro there for us. Yeah. Malandro is the
All
street smart.
right. I love
Yeah.
this word.
Yeah. Malandro is the street smart. And like sacana e sacanagem, tem malandro e malandragem. Yeah. It's
Oh,
the
yes.
street, yeah, it's the wiseness of the street.
It's
Yeah,
it means like deviant, doesn't it? Something like that.
malandro is the guy.
Like a bad guy, but a bad guy who's he's kind of lovable.
Yeah, exactly. He's not bad, but he's not good. He's just there, you know.
Yeah.
And that line that sometimes he's afraid, but sometimes he's good. You know, he's just walking there in that line that you don't know what this guy is doing. Yeah, malandro. Yeah, it's like there, here, there. That's it, malandro. I like these words. And actually,
Yes.
It's a
in my
difficult one to pin down.
yeah, if you
Go
go to
ahead.
my Instagram, it's there. Carioca, suburbano, preto e malandro. Yeah, so carioca is from
Mhm.
Rio, suburbano is suburban, preto, black, e malandro. Yeah, I'm just
Oh, I
walking.
got you on your what do you call it, on
Yeah.
your Instagram. So carioca
Mm-hmm.
guys are people from Rio de Janeiro. It's from the
Mm-hmm.
suburbs, the periphery. black, and malandro. So yes, when you say malandro, it's so about the context because it can be very bad. You can say, "Man, this guy's a malandro. Like, stay away from him. He's like a scam
Yeah.
artist. He's a bad dude." But somebody can be a malandro. He's just he's a wise guy. He's quick. He's like almost like a fox. When I think of
Yeah.
malandro, I think of like the indigenous tales, American indigenous tales. They got the coyote figure. Who he's
Yeah.
you know he's a smart guy. He's always trying to. He's a trickster. The malandro,
Yeah.
and he's a guy that knows how to get things done, and kind of he's
Always.
got jogo de cintura, which is another great expression in Portuguese. Which means he's flexible. He's got like that little space in his pants where he can wiggle around. He knows how to get his wiggle room on. So that's a great word, malandro. E malandragem, that's a great song too by Cássia Eller, Malandragem. Well, I'm very close
Yeah.
to
Bella's
Pete.
Virgins have a song about that too.
It's probably the same
Sim.
song because that's a very famous song.
No,
Who is that a Castillo song?
it's called yeah, it's called Aposentadoria de Maladro, Retirement of a Bastard.
Oh no, okay, I remember that one. Yeah, the
But,
Aposentadora de
yeah.
Malandro. Yes,
But there's one
Malandragem.
there's a samba also, né? Malandragem dá um tempo. Né? Look for
And
this
isn't
one
there
out.
a samba do Malandro? I think something Chico Buarque. What's
Uhum.
the one? Vai que Deus que
Malandro,
dá.
eu ando querendo falar com
Tararara.
você. Malandro, eu ando querendo falar com você. E você
Okay,
tem que
that's
usar
a
esse
different
amor
one. Yeah, so Malandro's everywhere, guys. That's a word
everywhere.
that is used all the time.
Yeah.
I'm very close to Pete. I was, when he said Nossa, I was like, oh, he's going to steal my word because mine is very close to Nossa. It's used in almost the same context. Oh, and Harold just put one up there. We'll get to you, Harold, in a second. But mine is Vish. And for those that don't know, I was born in Recife. My mom's from Recife. So we moved to the States. So I got to hear, I heard a lot of Nossas in casa. No, Minha Nossa, Nossa Maria. Uh, but Vichy is the one. Vichy, which is just like, oh man, like there's not a translation. Just be like, oh man, like shit, like it means so many things. It's usually when things have gone bad and you're just like, fuck,
Ah,
like what am I gonna do?
ah.
Vish, and sometimes you mix it and you get Vish Maria, like Vish Maria. Again, a lot of Catholic roots in Brazil, so we're talking about the Virgin Mary. Like, what's the one you said, Pete? Madre Mia, so Vish Maria. And I love the sound of Vichy. It's such a cool word. I use it all the time. I don't care. It's very outdated, I think, nowadays. But I say Vish, that's it. Que loucura, man. Like how crazy is that? So I love Vichy. Marcos, Vichy is very northeast, yeah?
Yeah, it's very northeast, but it's spread everywhere also. Yeah, spread everywhere. A
Vichy.
lot.
It's an easy one to say. It's traveled. It's got legs. Before we get to you, Pete, we got a guy here, Harold, and he's got Porsche. Porsche is a great word. It's like, damn, Porsche. E porra.
Mm-hmm.
Porra,
Wow.
which literally is your cum, your
Mm-hmm.
semen, but it's when things are fucked up, and you're like, porra, man, like fucking shit,
Yeah,
porra.
exactly. And well, again, the real being real, porra is used like a comma. Before anything, you say porra. Porra, and again, again with the sound of musicality, the porra, that's something like porra, sério, like seriously, porra, seriously,
Yes, I've heard this a
porra,
lot.
porra, yeah, that's
Porra,
about the music.
cara, você vai fazer isso mesmo? I'm like,
Porra,
fuck, dude, are you really gonna do that shit? Porra.
porra, it's really long, porra, that's it, bro.
Anthony Bergru here says, to say kiss my ass, is it chupa meu cu? I don't think so. I think chupa meu cu means something else. It's more like somebody sucking on your ass. It's tossing your
Yeah, it's
salad.
like an invitation.
Yeah, it's an invitation for somebody to toss your salad, Anthony. Kiss my ass. How do you say that in Portuguese, Marcos?
say kiss to beijar, né, cara? Então, beijar minha bunda, but we actually don't say
Yeah, it
this,
doesn't have the
right?
same meaning. Like kiss my ass is
Yeah,
like
yeah. Let's say
I don't
like
know.
foda-se. Yeah, we do like foda-se. Fuck you, foda-se.
Yeah, foda-se. Yeah, kiss my ass. Like fuck off, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, foda-se.
But there's not a very literal way to say kiss my ass in Portuguese. But yeah,
But
chupa meu cu, Anthony. Then you're gonna get some sacanagem if you say chupa meu cu.
Just be
Oh, there we
careful who
go.
you say it to.
Peter, I'm gonna get to you, but we got a lot of folks in here. I want to give them a little hello here. So
Right.
Maria José Torres says Vichy is northeast, but most of the São Paulo population has a north. Well, that is true.
mhm.
Uh, this was the city of migrants, so we have such a huge northeast population here. It's incredible. In fact, one of my favorite places in São Paulo is Lago 13, near a neighborhood called Santa Amaro. And when you go there on a weekend, it's like you went to Sergipe, you went to all these places up in the northeast because that's what you get. You get guys on the street playing the accordions, playing forró. You get all the spices from the northeast. So yes, the northeastern contingency in here in Sao Paulo is huge, and I love it. I love the northeastern folks. Um, go ahead, Pete. I'm reading Anthony's
All
comment
right.
here.
Well, I'm going to go with yet another very pedestrian but very common word that I like, and that is beijos, which simply means kisses. But again, it is a word that is used very differently from the way that we use it in English. And you would ask, like, how many different ways can you use it? But it's the way that, first of all, the way Brazilians treat kisses in the first place. They're as common as handshakes. I mean, like among friends, like I will tell you, I was thinking of this story the other day because I was talking to a friend about how um, COVID spread so rapidly here. And I remember meeting a business contact to pick up some money at a Subway in March of 2020. And the first thing she did was give me a kiss on the cheek. And in the back of my head, I was like, this is really not a good idea. But at the same time, I was like, well, when in Rome, the worst thing that can happen is I'm going to die. But yeah, the kissing culture is so prevalent in Brazil. And when it's translated to English, again, it doesn't work right. I had this student, and actually he was gay, and I knew he was gay. He told me, and I didn't care or anything like that. But at the end of our classes, he would always say kisses, and I'd be like, I didn't tell him this because I didn't want to make him feel bad or awkward. But I was like, dude, don't say kisses at the end of class. It's just weird. It's just weird. And the wonderful thing about it too is Brazilians, like English speakers, love their short form text messaging. So beijos gets translated to BJ. It's like, oh, I look forward to seeing you, BJ. It's like,
Yes,
great, great. I look
Oh,
forward to
me too.
that.
that was one that fucked me up so much when I got here. Like, there's three that fucked me up. First was the BJs, and the other one was the ABS, like abs. I'm like, why are you talking about my abdomen? But abs is the short version of abraços. Hugs, like hugs and kisses. And then, of course, the one that really fucked me up was KKK. I'm like, what is KKK? When I first saw that, I got really weirded out. But that's just how you write laughter in Portuguese. You
Yeah,
write
it's LOL in Portuguese.
Yes. So those were the three that I was like, what? BJ's, abs, and white supremacy? Where the fuck am I? Yeah, we got a few more comments here. First, Anthony McGrew really needs to know how to say "kiss my ass," Marcos. So get in touch with
I think
Marcos.
Foda
Anthony.
say is actually the best because I've been told that a lot.
What happened?
Foda say, I think Foda say
Foda-se. I
is,
think
What
Foda-se
is
yeah.
is the
It
best one.
basically means like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to fucking see you.
Yeah. Yeah, beija meu cu again. It's very literal. Like kiss. Like somebody's actually gonna kiss your asshole. Um, and then we have this boy here, which I can't pronounce that. Shalala. He just says, "Oh yeah," and he said, "I thought the same thing when I saw Carnival rocking. I guess about all the kissing going on." And have you guys seen the news in China and Italy? Uh, yeah, there's a whole lot of kissing going on. And what's the rule here, Marcos? Because I haven't gotten a Brazilian kiss in so long because I just cut it out of my life. Like I extend my hand faster than they can come and kiss me. Um, but what is it? I think São Paulo's one kiss. On other places too. There's one place that's like
Rio
three
de
kisses.
Janeiro is 2 kisses,
Rio is like
one
two
on each
kisses,
cheek,
one
one
on
on each
each cheek,
cheek.
And
exactly.
what's the one that's three? Is it like down in Santa Catarina that they do three?
I think in Santa Catarina they do three, if I'm not wrong. If someone here knows, because I will tell you something that I would be embarrassed. I've never been to São Paulo, Phil. I've never been to São Paulo. And there is something that I was like, but you haven't been to São Paulo? I was like, no, but I never been there. And, it's embarrassing. Yeah.
Come
But I'm
down
going.
September 12th.
I'm going.
September 12th.
Okay, I will get my vaccination on Wednesday. So after 15 days, wait for me there. Okay?
Yeah, we're having a little get together on 12th. So
Yeah,
you'll come.
Sounds
nice.
good.
And the thing, yeah, it's a lot of kisses here and there. And the carnival, yeah, the carnival rock is like no rules there for carnival. It's just
Oh my
everyone
god, Carnival is insane, man. It's a miracle I haven't gotten hepatitis.
Yeah, man, Carnival's insane. A lot of, and it happened like the last Carnival was right when
that was
Corona
when
was starting.
COVID really hit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wonder
when it
why.
first.
Wonder why.
Yes.
What
So
happens in
hey,
carnival stays in carnival, yeah. It's
say
a
that again.
saying. What happens in carnival stays in carnival. It's a saying.
This
Yes.
is true. This
Yes.
is true. This is true. All right, to
Yeah.
round us off. Give us a real good one, Marcos.
Okay. Two words. Sipa.
Oh, I like sipa. I don't use it, but I love hearing it. Sipa.
Sipa. Maybe. Simply
That's a
maybe.
nice word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sipa.
Sipa.
And yeah,
Sipa. Maybe.
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 In here in São Paulo, I hear a lot, like my little brother and stuff. They say
Pode
pode
pá.
pá, pode pá.
Pode
Like
pá.
yeah,
Pode pá.
it's a short thing. It's a short thing. Pode pá. Or I got you. Um, well, there's
Talvez.
so many good ones though. I mean, I feel bad. I just don't want us to go on all night. But like, I like se liga. I think that's such
Se
a
liga.
cool
Se
expression too,
liga.
because it's.
Very good
I just
one.
because I think of like the word literally, like make a connection, man. Se liga, like get with it. Se liga. There's so many guys. If you want to learn more great expressions, well, you got a Portuguese teacher right here named Marcos. You got his Instagram there, Valois. How do you pronounce it?
Valois, it's French actually.
Valois. It's French. It's all cheeky.
Mhm.
Valois 432 Marcos, and his Facebook page is the same. Um, it's Valois, and I failed to tell you this, but everybody that comes on our show gets tortured at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, and you lose all your Brazilian creds if you fail at this expat challenge. So I'm just warning you now. We will personally, Pete and I will personally write to every one of your clients and tell them how you are a horrible teacher if you fail this quiz. Okay, we'll find all your contacts. We have means. So the expat challenge lightning round. We're just going to ask you some questions. You tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't stress too much about it, and tell us what's the best thing about Brazil.
Caipirinha.
Oh
Caipirinha.
damn! You just answered 2 questions at once.
I know.
Okay, no, okay. Just like okay, you cannot call anyone. Just made it perfect. Okay, see you when.
Well, you can be a malandro and try to answer again because we do have a question about what the best drink is. So, what's the best thing about Brazil? We'll let you do the malandragem on that
Besides
bit.
the drinks.
Besides the drink,
Besides the drinks.
in the food.
Yes.
Drinks and food. Okay. So I would say football.
There you go. What's your team? Don't say Flamengo.
Flamengo.
Ah, oh, okay. Interview over. Bye. Nice knowing you. I'm joking. But anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead, Pete.
Yeah. What's the worst thing about Brazil?
Ooh, bureaucracy.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I definitely agree with that.
It's not for me. It's not the worst, but it's definitely in the top
Ooh,
three.
huge, huge. Ooh.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Best Brazilian food or favorite Brazilian food, I should say.
Okay, I'm vegetarian. Okay, I'm
Mm,
vegetarian
that's hard to
now.
be in Brazil.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's not. It's because there's a lot of good things. Yeah. So can I go for a fruit?
Go ahead, man. Whatever.
Sure.
Carambola.
Oh my God, that's a nasty
Carambola.
fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Carambola is like
Star
shit, man.
fruit.
Yeah, the star fruit. Not my
Jesus, yeah.
favorite fruit in the
So,
world.
oh man, it's
Um,
amazing.
well, while we're here, let's do a public service. Give the name of one good vegetarian restaurant in Rio.
Okay, there's a very good one called Bandolim.
So there you go, you vegetarians out there. Go to Bandolin. Is that how you spell it?
The
No, that's
M in the
abandonment.
end. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
it's
guess I gotta
M
put
in the
his
end.
Raudanchi.
M. The end is M.
Oh, Bandolin.
No, no, in the end.
Oh, oh,
And
I
there is
hate
a
it.
thriller end.
Ristorante vegetariano. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Bandolin.
Ooh,
Okay,
amazing.
and it's in where is that?
Lapa. Lapa,
Saint Lapa,
downtown.
Joaquin Silva. There you go.
Yeah.
So any
Close to the
vegetarians
stairs,
out
yeah,
there?
close to the Cilaron stairs.
Okay, yeah, most people know where that is. That's a very
Mm-hmm.
famous
Ooh.
tourist attraction. Who's it on? Is it you or me, Pete? I think it's you.
It is on me. And that brings us to what is your least favorite Brazilian food?
Ooh. My least favorite Brazilian food. Hmm. Man, I have to say buchada de bode.
Buchada de bode. That's not very different from what Lee said yesterday with the what was the one that's a tripa? Or I forgot what he said. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Buchada, and buchada basically is like the stomach, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not an innards person.
Yeah, there you go. There's some buchada for you. That
Yeah.
looks rather disgusting. I don't think I would eat that. I do like the one that Pete said, or not Pete, Lee said last week, but I'm staying away from
Okay.
buchada. By the way, we got some people playing along here. Some people, I guess they said the best. It could be the best or the worst thing about Brazil is
Mm-hmm.
people, but I think it's the best thing. In bureaucracy, muqueca is always a
I
favorite,
love
and worst thing is the lies. All right, um, let's go. What's your favorite drink in Brazil?
Caipirinha, man. That's cachaça, actually. I would say cachaça, not caipirinha, but cachaça in general. The good one, not 51, 51, that sucks.
Yes.
The
Oh,
stuff they serve out of 6-liter jugs in botecos.
Terrible.
No.
Cachaça.
yeah, you got to get some artisanal cachaça. I always give these guys a uh, a little plug on the show. They send to your house Santa Terezinha cachaça since 1943. Had them in
Mm-hmm.
Espírito Santo.
Mm-hmm.
Vitória Espírito Santo. Oh my God. That's when I learned what Marcos just taught you guys. Drink the good shit, the artisanal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have a different view of cachaça. Yeah, don't drink 51. That's
Never.
gasoline. Use it for your car. All right, go ahead.
Yes, the best place you have visited in Brazil. In Brazil.
Best place I've visited in Brazil. I think I would have to say Maracanã.
He's a fanboy. He's a Flamengo fanboy.
No, but I think it's about the energy, yeah? It's the energy
Yeah, I'm
of the
messing
place.
with you.
It's a huge stadium, yeah? It's a really stadium, and it's just the energy when you go there. Not only to see Flamengo, yeah? Because there are some concerts there also,
Of course, you know
Right.
it's a beautiful
yeah? And
stadium.
let's say some Bódromo also. Yeah, Maracanã, wow, amazing, really.
There's Maracanã Stadium, very famous stadium. That's where they had
Final
the
of the
World
World
Cup
Cup.
games, major
Mhm.
major sporting and music events all happen in
Mhm.
Maracanã, and it is gorgeous. I didn't go inside. I went outside it,
Mhm. I live very
and
close to Maracanã, actually. Yeah,
it's
so whenever you
impressive,
come
man.
here, you're more than invited to come to my house to have some vegetarian meal, and we go to Maracanã.
Maracanã, Maracanã.
Mhm.
Pete.
That was just me.
Oh,
It's
okay,
your
that's
turn.
me. It's me. All right, come on. What's the most overrated location or thing in Brazil? One or the other, or both, whatever. It's on you.
Most overrated location in Brazil. hmm I must say, it's Búzios.
Búzios.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Búzios is that island off of Rio, right?
No, it's not a line. It's a city.
What's the city?
Yeah, just maybe 3 hours from here. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, but it's like overpriced. First thing, it's overpriced. It's really overpriced. There's a
It's
statue of
overpriced.
Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte Bardot is there. There's a statue of Brigitte Bardot there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always thought it
Very,
was a little island, but it's like a little
yeah, it's a peninsula, yeah.
islet, I guess. What do you call those things? A little peninsula. All
And
right.
it's overpriced. It's beautiful, but there are some cities just very close by, and these cities are like I like them better.
I got you. I got you. Man, folks are very interactive tonight, which I love. They're all playing along. We got Itacaré and Rio as some favorite places. We got
Mm-hmm.
Florianopolis, but would not want to live there, too white. And
Yes.
Trancoso as some favorite places in Brazil. Go ahead. I think now it's Pete.
Yeah, now it's my turn. And the question is, what is the best place to chill in your city?
Ah, praia. And I
The
would
beach.
say
The
beach,
beach.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
of course.
I would say to go to Leme, Praia do Leme.
Lemmy Beach.
Yeah,
Because I went to Copacabana. I wasn't very impressed with
crowded,
Copacabana Beach. But
crowded.
Ipanema I thought was a little nicer.
Yeah, but can be really crowded also.
Yes. So
Just to,
Lemmy is what side of Rio? Is that's not the south side, is it?
yeah, but it's just before Copacabana. Yeah,
Ah,
Copacabana is a really crowded one, but Leme is just before that. You have instead of turning, yeah, you see, I
oh,
don't
there
know
it
if the
is.
instead of turn right, you turn left.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what that is. That's when you make that sharp turn to get to Ipanema.
Ipanema, exactly. You go through Copacabana to go to Ipanema, yeah, but instead of turning right, you turn left. Now everyone is going there. You're going to find it there.
Ah, I got you. I went to this fort here, this Forte do whatever it's called.
What's
Oh, never
Copacabana?
mind. No,
Mm-hmm.
mixing it up. This is a
Before
different
this is
fort. I went to
the
Forte de Copacabana, so I was down
mm-hmm.
here. It made a
Yeah. So
okay.
you
So I've never been to Lemmy.
Ecuador, yeah,
I got you. Oh, cool,
yeah.
cool,
So
cool. Yeah, I didn't go up
yeah.
that way. Very nice, very
Mm-hmm.
nice. All right, I guess it's on me or is it on Pete? I get
It's
so
on
confused.
you.
I get so confused with this shit. Okay, favorite Brazilian musician or band?
Jesus, I have to say, can I say two or no?
I will let you go
Go
two.
ahead. Go ahead.
Because I always okay. So I would say Gilberto Gil. It's just,
Okay.
yeah, we are talking about him just before, right? Gilberto Gil. And I have to say Milton Nascimento also. I just love this guy a lot.
And
Milton
and
Nascimento
and
e Gilberto Gil.
we let you say too because you've given me like a little promo for our last podcast, guys. Listen to our last podcast. There's a whole lot of Gilberto Gil and Milton Nascimento in our last podcast about essential Brazilian albums, and they are absolutely amazing
Mm-hmm.
artists here in Brazil. And then the final question is on Peter.
Yes, and that is one word of advice for future visitors to the country.
um, for the future visit of the country, I always say like be careful where you go. Yeah, with whom you're
Yeah,
going and what time you're going. Yeah, I think that's the
yeah,
point.
boy,
Yeah.
I know. I still haven't learned that one.
Be careful
So
where you
thank you for
go
the
and
one
what
there
time you're
here also.
going.
Yeah.
What? Say
Yeah.
that again. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
When with whom and where. I think that's the whole
yeah,
point because you can go to the same place at the same time, but depends on who you are. It's very nice, or it could be like a disaster. Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna put that there on the
yeah, I
chat.
hear you.
Where, when, with whom, and where. The three W's here. Well, kind of four W's in a way. Uh, so true, man. So true. Especially in Rio. I'm sorry, but
Mm-hmm.
Rio for
No,
me
no, I
felt
know.
way more dangerous than São Paulo. Like my brother-in-law, actually that little corner I
Mm-hmm.
was talking about, going from Copacabana to Ipanema, and he's a Rio. Like he's been in Rio, like back and forth since the 70s. He just had an off day because he left the house with this little gold chain, very thin gold chain, but one nonetheless. And man, little kid on the bike, tried to snatch it. He
Yeah,
almost did. Didn't snatch it by very little, but I felt much more like I had to have my spidey sense on in Rio than in Sao Paulo. Like everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
definitely,
had this student from Rio de Janeiro, and he used to work as an office boy, and they gave him like the little uniform and everything. And it got to the point where he was being robbed so often that they actually gave him a mugger fund. So that like when he got stopped on his bike, he could just give the muggers some money, and he would still have enough money to get everybody coffee and lunch and shit.
good lord,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
The
think
real for me
that's
is
it
a
because
bit
the
rough.
spider have to be your spider sense must be on all the time. And actually,
Yes,
it
yes,
took me
exactly.
to go to the other cities. Yeah, I think the other cities, and I am so aware of everything that even as I was in like Slovakia, a small city, I am like aware of everything. Like, so why are so you're looking behind who's coming after you? It's like, dude, I'm from Rio. Like, I need to know who's coming, who's there on the other side of the street. I always paying attention to everyone, everywhere. So I think this is
Yeah.
something that we develop in Rio, like to be aware
Yes.
of everyone who's around you, doing what. Yeah, so I think that that's the point also of being a carioca. That you can live. I believe that if you're carioca, you can live everywhere because you become a little bit malandro. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got malandro because we know what's going to happen. Sometimes I'm like, this guy's going to be robbed now, and the guy's robbed. I know what's going to happen because that's
You
Yeah.
it.
know
You
when shit's
know,
about to go
you feel
down.
that case.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you feel it in the air. Um, no, totally true, totally true. And it can be stressful after a while, but at the same time, hey,
Totally.
I mean, if you're a Rio lover, and we have a few expat friends that just love Rio, it just is what it is, and you're there, and it is what it is. Uh, well, we have come to the end of yet another edition of the Brazil Expat Journal. I want to thank
Uh,
everybody who listens. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this with your friends. And I hope that we help in some way, kind of get around Brazil because it's not an easy country to get around. And I want to thank Marcos for coming in, so gracious. We had a bit of sound issues at the beginning, but it kind of cleared up a bit more later. So I hope
It
everybody
got better.
could understand him. And guys, there's closed captioning. I put closed captioning in all the videos, so definitely listen
nice.
to the whole interview later. And I would love to maybe invite Marcos back to talk a little bit about Afro history in Brazil. That would be really interesting. But thank you,
That's great.
Marcos, for coming in. Don't forget, guys, you can reach him on Instagram at Valois432. I'll put it back on the
Mm-hmm.
chat. And you can find him on Facebook at Marcos Valois 432. Oh, not 432 if it's on Facebook, just Marcos Valois. He teaches English. He's been teaching for about 12 years. I'm sure he
Portuguese.
Portuguese, yes, sorry. Teaches Portuguese, and uh, I'm sure you do some remote stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm
Online.
doing remote stuff, and I must say that I teach Portuguese and malandragem also. Okay.
Okay, he teaches you some malandragem. From what I gathered, he's going to teach you some Portuguese that actually is useful, you know, not just book stuff. And that's the best Portuguese that you could have because,
Exactly.
folks will just pick you apart if they see that you're speaking grammatically correct Portuguese. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We got a little bit of outro music here. Any final words, Marcos?
Yeah, I would like to thank for meeting you. Yeah, it was like really amazing. It was my first podcast ever. I never spoken a podcast before. Yeah, we're talking about this. It was amazing, good experience. I want to do again and again and again. I want to come back here to chat with you guys. I really want to meet you guys. Yeah, I really want you to come here to Rio also. Yeah,
I will be coming in December, most likely.
dude, like you have a guide for malandragem. Okay, you're going to the best places. Yeah, and
Awesome.
I will assure you that's not going to be robbed.
Okay.
It's something real. Yeah. Um, yeah, I would like to thank everyone that was here, listening to us today. And again, that's my WhatsApp there, my WhatsApp on my Instagram. You can reach for some classes. Yeah, we did some promotions for classes, like everything. I swear, I will fix this mic. Okay, it will be better. And I think that's it. Just like to thank you all friends that are here. Thank you, Martin, Mario, and everyone is here. I don't know, I cannot see who's there, who's here, but thank you all, guys.
All right,
Thank
do that.
you as
Susan,
well.
do that.
Very
Thank
educational.
Adios, amigos. That's not Portuguese.